With problems number 66 and 67, we're essentially asked the same sort of question. Notice you're given three values and you're asked to find the fourth. Okay, you're given three values and you're asked to find the fourth. But number 67, they've given us integers, whereas 66 we have a mixed number. So I think it'll be a little easier to see 67 first. And basically, whenever we have one of these, this is a proportion problem. You're given three pieces of information and asked to find the fourth one. Whatever order they give me these units, I just stay in that order, and that's one way to solve the problem. Okay, so they give me inches and then feet, so I'm going to follow that pattern. First, I'll write the inches, and then in the denominator I'll put feet. Okay, now this is just the pattern I'm going to follow. Okay, so they say 1 inch. 1 inch corresponds to 9 feet. Okay, and then I have an equal sign with another ratio over here, and let's see, they give me 15 feet, so inches are on top, feet are on the bottom. 15 goes down here. Alright, and I'm asked to find the blueprint measurement, which is in inches. Inches are on top, so that's where my variable is. Okay, now I want to get x all by itself, so I need to get rid of this 15. So multiply each side by 15. Maybe I shouldn't have canceled that out so quickly. This is 15 over 1, and the 15 cancels the 15. Alright, goes into itself one time. And then when I to keep things balanced, I have to multiply this side by 15. If you want to think of it as 15 over 1, that's fine. And we can reduce a little bit. 3 goes into 9 3 times. 3 goes into 15 5 times. And let's see, what do we have left standing here? X is equal to 5/3. Or we can write 5/3 is equal to X. But let's see, write the answer as a mixed number. Okay, so instead of 5/3, we'll write that as or X is equal to 3 goes into 5 one time with 2 left over. You always keep your denominator. So 1 2/3 inches. That's how long the blueprint measurement would be. 1 2/3 inches. So that takes care of 67. We'll take a look at 66. It's going to be essentially the same pattern, but it could look a little more confusing since you have a mixed number involved. Okay. And again, I just use whatever order they give me these measurements. I just stick with it. There's no hard and fast rule to do it that way, but this always works, so I'm going to try to be consistent in how I approach it. So they give me inches and then feet. Alright, so I'm going to follow that pattern. Inches and then feet. Make that a little more obvious. Alright, so let's see. 1 inch. 1 inch over 6 feet. Okay. And on this side, our ratio, they give me 4 2/3 inches. Inches are on top. Okay. So I'll write 4 2/3, and then find the length of the wall. The length of the wall is in feet. Okay. So that's where our X is sitting. If this had been, let's say, 4.5 inches, maybe you would just write 4.5, and that would be pretty easy to work with. 2/3, that doesn't turn into a decimal neatly. There's a repeating decimal there, so we'll just deal with it as a fraction. Okay, but the first problem is X is in the denominator. That's not good because we can't finish. If all I do is get rid of 4 2/3, I'm still going to have X in the denominator, and that's not acceptable. X has to be by itself. It can't be underneath a 1. So even if I get rid of 4 2/3, I'll still have a problem here. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of X, which might sound strange, but I can't have it in the denominator. So it's held there by division, right? So I'll use the opposite operation, multiplication. So I'll multiply this side by x as well. Okay. And hope you see that these x's cancel. X goes into x one time. And over here, I'm just going to write this the way you're more accustomed to seeing it. 1/6 and then x. Okay. So all I've done is change the order. And then we have equals 4 2/3. But instead of writing this as a mixed number, I'm going to write it as an improper fraction because I'm going to be trying to get rid of this. If you're adding and subtracting, mixed numbers okay, but for multiplication or division, you have to have it as a fraction. So 3 times 4 is 12, plus 2 is 14, and you keep your denominator, 14/3. And now we just want to get x by itself. I want to get rid of 1/6. It's held there by multiplication, so I'm going to divide by 1/6. When you divide by a fraction, you flip it and multiply. So I multiply each side by 6/1. And this will clean up pretty quickly. 6 goes into 6 once, so you have x equals. And 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 6 twice, 2 times 14, 28. All right. So a line 4 2/3 inches represents a wall that's 28 feet long.